Same cast, different day podcast, y'all. My computer is decided to go on a whole fritz right now. I don't know what's going on. It's like going on. Yeah, and it's Tina's fault that we was late. I was like, I made us 2 minutes late, but Tina made us 6 minutes late. I just want y'all to know that.
Says a person having the technical difficulties right at the start of the show. Okay.
Hey, hey,
Yeah.
I'm still working with it. Um, so So a little whoopsie happened this past Thursday. So I sat down with the US how can I sat down with Riyadh and I had some technical difficulties. I was broadcasting from the was it Google Meets to the streaming service that I use, like we're doing audio recording and stuff, and for some reason it didn't pick up the audio recording. Don't know what happened. So I will be reshooting that interview this Thursday. So make sure y'all be looking out for that interview. And let's go ahead on with the show. And hopefully I don't have any more interruptions from my computer because it's starting to drive me a little bit crazy right now. And I don't know why it want to sit here and do this at this ungodly moment. So yeah, here we go. Oh, I
Here
forgot
we
that
go.
there, by the way. That's cool, man. Yeah, and by the way, you can scan that QR code right there for those of you who are watching the video version in the top left hand corner. I believe it'll be for you. And you can scan that QR code and it'll take you to all our links and to our merch store where you can buy Same Cast Different Day podcast merch. And if you buy the merch, send us a picture of it to scddpodcast@gmail.com. If you wear the merch, that way we can see y'all. We can put y'all picture on here wearing the merch and stuff. But yeah, let's get into the story. So let's talk about Ray J. So those of you who don't know, Ray J is Brandy Norwood's, aka Brandy, brother, little brother, and he's going back and forth in court with the Kardashians and all these other kind of things going on. But anyways, so after Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner filed a lawsuit against him for defamation and a legal doc obtained by TMZ, Ray J revealed that what he says actually went down with the whole sex tape thing. So he says that it was Kim had consensually him and Kim consensually shot the sex tape. He says the sex tape was shot in 2003 and they discussed releasing it in 2006. See, back in the day, this is what celebrities was doing. Like people do to try to get famous back in our day. Like all the celebrities was doing sex tapes. So it's like they wasn't famous no more. So they tried to get some attention on themselves and stuff. So they do sex tapes and put the sex tape out there. And they was like, nah, we ain't released this sex tape. Like, girl, we know you had something to do with that sex tape, But so yeah, let's keep the story going because I'm like it just get way, 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 way more messier. Okay, so anyway, Kim insisted that Kris be in charge of releasing and commercially exploitation is what they say of the film. Now, in a lawsuit filed by attorney Howard King, I don't know what that man looks like, but a name like Howard King, he sounds like like a strong man that you don't want to mess with. That's a strong name for Howard King. I'll let him represent me. But anywho, Ray J claimed that Kim and Kris have spent 2 decades peddling a false story that the sex tape was leaked against her will. We all know that sex tape wasn't leaked against her will. Like that one girl from I can't think of her name, but that one girl from Love and Hip Hop, and she did the sex tape, and then she spent the whole season trying to tell people and convince people that she don't know how the sex tape got out there, and she don't know who did it and who could have leaked it, and all these other kind of things. And then it turns out that they actually shopped around their own sex tape to different porn sites and companies and stuff like that to try to get it out there for attention because with these reality shows you got to have some type of drama going on to stay on these shows these days. But oh wait, somebody I don't know why Tina ain't tell me that there was some comments. Oh, what's this, mate? So what we do is we just discuss, what goes on in like pop culture. Then we're gonna talk about, you know, Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They broke up, so we're gonna talk about them and stuff later on in the show. Oh my god. Um. So yeah, like I said, so they know they do whatever they can to stay relevant when they release these sex tapes. But um, like so we get back to the story. So when in reality, they say it got shopped out to the highest bidder. Basically, it sounded like Chris was the one who shopped it out to the highest bidder. Now Ray said that Kim and Chris are furious and he no longer wants to play along with their tall tale of what happened with this Kim and Ray J sex tape. And Kim and Chris's attorney told TMZ that he realizing he after realizing he is losing the case, and losing is a way is the way he just disjointed, rambling, destruction. It is not intimidating anyone. Is what he's trying to say that Ray J was trying to do right now with this frivolous case that he got against Kim and Chris Kardashian. But then Ray J, now listen, y'all gotta get this one. Ray J says that Kim Kardashian, well, the Kardashians, Kim, Chris, and Ye, I guess they talk about Kanye West, they just refer to him as Ye in this story, falsely accused him of sexually assaulting Kim while she was asleep, releasing revenge porn as extortion. And Chris and Kim and their production team, the company, they entered into this settlement, right? And then within this settlement, it was for $6 million. But hold on, we go home and go back to one thing. Now, Kim, we know that you was willingly having sex with Ray J. You ain't gotta try to make it seem like that boy is salty. You was willing. I bet every last time you was willing. But anyway, so like I said, they had the settlement that was paid off for $6 million to Ray J. So Ray J says the agreement had a requirement bearing further mention of public reference to the sex tape on the Kardashians, but he says almost immediately after the agreement was executed, Kim, Chris, Yee, and Kendall Jenner all made statements in violation of the agreement. So now this is why he trying to take them back to court and stuff. He trying to get some more money because like, hey, y'all ain't supposed to be talking about me and this sex tape on here. But like I said, this is how these celebrities stay relevant and stuff. They got to do these sex tapes. I mean, there's a lot of celebrity sex tapes out there. Don't Pamela Anderson, if y'all watch, no Pamela Anderson got a sex tape and all. It's a lot of Eve. I saw a sex tape with the rapper Eve. She was I think she was being played with her stuff. Okay, I shouldn't be saying all that on here. But anyways, Ray says he is considering bringing on his own lawsuit against Kim and Chris under civil RICO statutes and wondering whether they might be prosecuted for RICO violations. The same thing they got Diddy for. So he said that while he was interviewed on TMZ's Tubi United States versus Sean Combs, featuring an aside by the Kardashians and RICO, in which he said, if you told me that the Kardashians were being charged with racketeering, I might believe it. And you know what? I might believe it too. But yeah, that was the Ray J Kardashian, not Chris, but the Kardashian drama that was going on and stuff. All this is just money. I think because they try to sue him for defamation, right? That he's like, no, I might lose this case and I want to pay all this money for defamation. So then he trying to come up with his own lawsuit. But anyway, on both sides, they're wrong and they need to figure that stuff out. And that's all I got for Ray J and the Kardashians. And I believe Tina got an update about, oh, Lord, I'm so tired of this man. Why would he just go away? He needs to go away like that orange tangerine that don't know how to blend his makeup. He just needs to go away.
He's trying to stay relevant. So Diddy, of course, stays in the news. I was almost thinking I didn't have anything to report on him this week, but here he is.
No, I'm not a Trumpy.
Trumpy?
I'm not a Trump
I've never
supporter.
heard that before. Trumpy? Nah. Anyway, so Diddy's release date has been pushed back to June 2028 instead of May 2028 because of all the shenanigans he's been doing, right? Like he supposedly had the liquor in his possession while he was in prison. He's been making unauthorized three-way calls, etc., 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 right? Now, despite all of this, it looks like his appeal proceedings are going to go forward. And I know it's in the beginning stages, but the court has granted him the right to appeal his recent RICO charges he was convicted of. Okay. Um, how do you, when you be reporting stuff, I be trying to sit here real nice and attentive, like,
I'm listening.
but when I be reporting stuff, here you go, turning up bottles of wine.
I thought you wasn't gonna notice.
You thought you thought we couldn't see you?
Oh yeah, I thought I was invisible.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so Diddy is always going to stay in the news. He wants people to keep talking about him, right? So wait till next week for more shenanigans. um, so this is probably just like a little tidbit of information. I don't know how many people care, but I cared. So after 232 years, Trump has ordered the U.S. Mint to wrap up production on the penny.
Which is gonna cost us a whole bunch of money because now these stores gonna be rounding up and stuff. They ain't gonna round down, so they're gonna round up and it's gonna cost you more money to buy stuff. And it's already economy where it costs too much money to live in.
So this past Wednesday, the U.S. officially wrapped up production of the 1 cent coin. So supposedly, Trump feels like the penny is an unnecessary cost, and this is why the production is being wrapped up. But there are reports emerging that the final pennies minted may go for as much as $5 million at auction.
$4 million for a damn penny.
I said, well, let me start vacuuming up the pennies that's on the floor of my car and like start saving them.
Right. I'm
That's
like,
all.
I got that 1 cent. Here you go.
I'm just gonna hang on to it. They don't make these anymore, baby.
Right. That's just
You know. So I thought that was kind of crazy, but
mm, mm, mm. Y'all, let's talk about this Republican Party. So it's been some mess going on, and it's starting to fall. So
it's always some mess going on. What you talking about?
here, I swear, this last couple of days, what's been coming out in the news just make you want to drink. Like it make you want to smoke a cigarette. So ever since the government reopened, we have been seeing the Republican Party just start to fall apart. Um, right after the government reopened, we've seen there was these emails that came out that supposedly Jeffrey Epstein had sent out to other people, and then the whole White House just went into a panic. Everybody over there just, oh my God, this is happening. We need to figure out something. We need to figure out how to change the story. But you can't change the story right now because it ain't no change in the story. So in one of the emails, Epstein had told Maxwell that Donald Trump spent hours at his house that Donald Trump spent hours at his house and he knew about the girls and they said he ain't Bart. So basically that Donald Trump didn't tell that the girls, underage girls and stuff was there. So they wasn't worried about him barking about the girls being there. Now, after all that came out, Donald Trump had withdrew his support for one of his closest allies, Marjorie Taylor Greene, after she publicly demanded that the Epstein files was to be released. About damn time. We've been waiting on this for all this time. Anyway, in an online statement, Marjorie Taylor Greene has said that President Trump just attacked me and lie about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send him these text messages today, and that's what she said. Then she went on to say, apparently this is what sent him over. This is what sent him over the edge, but she didn't really show us what really sent him over the edge because she didn't show us the text messages. I don't know why she put that like that on Twitter, but anyway, she goes on to say, of course he will be coming after me hard, coming after me hard. To me. As a matter of fact, this is her words, y'all, that I'm reading. So this is exactly how she said it. So if the grammar is not right, y'all need to tell Marjorie Taylor Greene to go back to school. But of course, he will be coming after me hard to make an example to scare all of the other Republicans before next week's vote. They're supposed to be voting next week on the Epstein files, by the way. It is astonishing and really hard. He's fighting to stop the Epstein's files from coming out, and that he actually goes to this level. He actually went to this. He going through all this stuff to stop these Epstein files from coming out because he know he's in there. And he know that he did some illegal stuff, y'all. I'm telling you, he knew. I feel like he ran for president a second time just because he knew. He knew that them files was gonna come out, and I said while he was that was gonna come out. And if he would these files would have came out while he was a regular citizen, boom, jail. He's going to jail. But it's no they he knows it's gonna be hard because now he got all his friends and stuff in the Congress. So he try to keep them all together and under control and stuff. So that way they try to get the people in areas so they can get these seats and stuff. So that way they can keep he can keep the votes and not release these files from getting out. But anyway, uh
That was the sound it was gonna make when they got him.
yeah.
Okay.
uh then she goes on to say, but really most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes and are growing broke from trying to feed their families and losing hope in the American dream. Girl, let me tell you something, Margie Taylor. The American dream been dead for a very, very long time. I don't know what reality that y'all living in that y'all think the American dream is still alive. It is dead because they can't buy food, they can't buy houses. Hell, you barely afford car insurance in day and age. Hell, you can barely afford Christmas. Matter of fact, if you are a single person, you might as well be set up to eat bologna sandwiches for the rest of your life. But that's the way how this economy is going right now. The American dream is dead. Then y'all got the nerves to be talking about a 50-year mortgage. Who the hell want to pay a mortgage for 50 damn years? These people gonna be 75, 80 years old, still paying the damn sir. Fix it. Fix it. So she also said in another statement, I am now being contacted by private security firms with warnings for my safety, and as warnings for my safety as a hotbed of threats against me are being fueled and egged on by the most powerful man in the White House. The man I supported and helped get elected. She did. She was standing on that, helping that man get elected. And then when they was having the State of the Union and what's his name? What's our former president name? That God, what's his name? Joe. The old man Joe. Well, old man Joe was in office and stuff, and he was doing the State of the Union, and he had all the congressmen and stuff there.
Hold
And
on, wait a minute. You
uh,
forgot Joe Biden's name?
hey, hey, it happened.
Okay.
Okay, it happened. But yeah, she would cut off Joe Biden when he was talking during giving his State of the Union address. She was cutting him off and all this other kind of stuff. Just wasn't listening to him, and then it was just being rude and evil. But anyway, she said aggressive rhetoric attacking me as has historically led to death threats and multiple convictions of men who were radicalized by the same type rhetoric being directed at me. This time, the president of the United States. That's exactly how she said those words, y'all. I was reading them like I don't think she read over this before she posted it. But anyway, I now have a small understanding of the fear and the pressure of the women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his cable must fail. Oh wait, I mean feel. I got a little bit too excited, y'all. Cause she's finally starting to see the other side, y'all. I got too excited and I pronounced that wrong too. But she got it. I'm excited. She finally has come to the light, y'all, about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein. I'm happy. I'm just so happy. It had also come out that Donald Trump spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein when he was already the president. The president.
Dun dun dun.
And Epstein had already been convicted of being convicted of being a sex offender too, by the way. So now Donald Trump, you the president over here at this man's house on Thanksgiving with a convicted sex offender. What is wrong with you, Donald Trump? And then Congresswoman Gwen Moore said the narrative that Trump cut off Jeffrey Epstein in the early 2000s is clearly false. This man has been lying, talking about he ain't had no contact with that man since the early 2000s. And then while you was president between 2016 to 2020, I believe, is when he left office. 2021, you spent Thanksgiving at his house. You nasty mother tangerine. Excuse me, y'all. Then Jasmine Crockett had responded to Marjorie Taylor Greene over there, Marjorie Taylor and Trump breaking up, right? And this is what she wrote. She said, "I'm here for you, girl." Well, I shouldn't have did that. That was very I'm here for you, girl. I told you not to trust him. All he cared about is himself and protecting pedos. He never loved you. My granny always said, be with the man that loves you more than you love him. Trust me, sis, you are better off without him. I can't believe I started reading that. Like,
I mean, it's Jasmine Crockett. I would have started like that too.
right? Like, I was like, let me
I
stop
would have
being.
started exactly like that.
But yeah, like I had said before, like I feel like he only ran again to win the election again because one, to really stop these files from being released, and then two, to take from the poor and give to the rich, and which is exactly what he did when he created Doge and this whole big beautiful bill. It was literally about taking from the poor and giving to the rich. And the fact that Donald Trump is doing this mess, doing this shenanigans, I'm just I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over him. I'm over his policies. I'm over people not holding him responsible. And something needs to be done about this orange tangerine because I'm tired of the orange tangerine who can't blend his makeup. Y'all, I tried to put on some today. It looked okay up under my eyes. So I left it under my eye. So it looked pretty okay. But yeah, I tried today. But yeah, let's talk about SNAP benefits.
Okay, it's gonna be all right. So update on the SNAP benefits, right? So we know that the government they came to whatever the agreement was, and we're no longer shut down, right?
Word.
So coming up out of all of this, I believe I reported last week on how deeply affected the SNAP program was, right? Especially because of the holidays, et cetera, et cetera. So
Mhm.
now the Trump administration is planning to require all SNAP benefits to reapply for benefits because it looks like there was some fraudulent things going on. But get this, the data was only taken from 29 Republican led states, right?
Mhm.
So they're saying that these 29 Republican led states are saying that approximately 186,000 deceased individuals were receiving SNAP benefits.
How is that? Hold that. Hold on. See, this is what I'm be talking about because I could have sworn that a few years ago they said, not even a few years ago, but earlier this year they were saying that there was people getting Social Security checks who were 140 some years old or something like that. Like how? I'm pretty sure y'all would know when a death certificate is filed. Y'all get the information like, yeah, this person dead. We ain't got to pay this money out no more. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. How did you not afraid to sit here and tell me that it's 186,000 deceased people getting food SNAP benefits? Like, how's it? Don't they got to renew it every 6 months? So I don't understand. There's a renewal process every 6 months, or however how many they supposed to do it. How the
Here in
hell?
Wisconsin, it's every 6 months. I'm not sure what it is in every other state.
Okay, see, wait, here in Wisconsin is every 6 months. So I'm just not understanding how y'all still send out benefits to 186,000 people. So like, is it a family member that's still pretending to be that person? Because I know at some point you know what the people do it over the phone and stuff. But I'm saying like you guys send like paperwork in and verify this and verify that. So like how it just don't seem possible.
It's very possible. I mean, I kind of feel like human error, right? It could be that they don't know the person is deceased. Maybe somebody is missing and nobody was reported missing and they actually turned out to be deceased. And maybe they were Jane Doe or maybe it was just an accident. It could be something fraudulent going on. Like I feel like it's a lot of human error
Mhm.
when it comes down to like the benefits and stuff, right?
Mhm.
So,
But
so like
186,000. That's a lot of people who need to be fired.
I'm surprised it wasn't a higher number than that. Out of 29 states, that's all they found. I'm surprised it wasn't more than that. And I mean, there's other different ways to fraudulently get benefits for the people that are living. So these are just the deceased individuals,
We
right?
gonna we gonna have to figure out those steps.
Oh, I'm not going to put nobody. Absolutely not.
Before we get off the camera,
I'm not. Listen, I'm not going to make anything easier for the government. I'm good. Mm-mm. We
man.
ain't gonna. We ain't gonna. Mm-mm.
Help me, I'm poor.
Mm-mm.
That's how I be. When me and Tina finally go on a trip somewhere, because I'll be poor. And when me and Tina finally go on a trip somewhere, she bougie, so she can sit in first class and stuff like that. I'll be like, I'm gonna come sit up there next to her, like, sir, you wanna go back to your seat? And I was like, I'm gonna look at her like, help me, I'm poor. I'm gonna give her a real sad, like how she did on Brian's May. I'm gonna do that exact face, like, help me, I'm poor.
I, I can't take you nowhere. I can't. I
Oh,
can't take you anywhere. Apparently, I can't take you anywhere.
exactly how I mean it. I'm riding straight to the back of the plane. Hell, that's all I can afford. Let's talk about the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court have agreed not to take up the same-sex marriage case. Remember when I had told you guys, it was like, I told you on the last episode or something. Yeah, it was the last episode where I said that at least four judges have to agree to hear the case in order for the case to be brought in front of the Supreme Court. Well, they decided not to take up the case, protecting same-sex marriage, making it the rule of law across the land for now. The woman, Kim Davis, who was sued after she refused to issue marriage licenses to a same-sex couple in 2025. Oh wait, it's supposed to be it's not 2025. I think it's like 2023. Oh, I put the wrong date in there. But she was citing that her religious belief was the reason why she didn't give them their marriage license. So the lawsuit was brought by two couples who were denied licenses and eventually led to the Supreme Court decision against Davis in her attempt to overturn the the landmark Obergefell versus Hodges ruling. I hope I pronounced that right. She is also still on the line for $350,000 for court fees and money that's owed to the couples that she refused to give the license to. But she ain't gonna never be out of debt. You know what? She might as well. She don't need a OnlyFriends, uh, loyal fans. Um, I'm so messy. I am so messy. uh, she gonna have to. She gonna, might have to go over there on 27th and Burleigh Chamber. She gonna have to do something. The 350,000 girl, yo, grandkids is gonna be paying that money back. I'm just you whole thing is what I'm gonna say to you, and hopefully you learn the lesson. Stop messing with people just because y'all feel like somebody. Oh, that's against my religion. Don't try to bring down everybody else's happiness and fun because it's against your religion. Everybody don't practice the same religion. And I hate the fact that America is trying to force Christianity onto people. Like there are other religions that's been around way longer than Christianity, according to some of this other stuff that's been going on now, especially over there in the Africa and what's them lands over there that they hate so much. Where the I don't want to say Arabians, are they like Indians? I think they're Indian, but they make fun of them when they come from like India and stuff like that. They got all these historic like stuff that's mentioned in the Bible and all this other kind of stuff over there in the West Africa, not West Africa, but East Africa and all that stuff that they refuse to admit. Like a lot of people don't want to admit that Jesus is black, but but yeah,
Jesus is what?
black. He had wool hair. I don't know where they got that white man from with that long blonde brown hair. I don't know where they got that man from, but according to where they saying that Jerusalem and all these other places where he was at, oh, like, that's the Middle East. Like he was Middle Eastern. He either African or Arab or something like that. He not this white man with this long blonde straight hair. That ain't real Jeebus. I don't know who that is. That's fake Jeebus because that ain't real Jeebus. Jeebus it's supposed to be. He got wool hair. He got like I need a hot comb to straighten it hair. That's Jeebus. I don't know where Jeebus from, but yeah, that you lady, you and your family screwed though. Pay that 350,000. So I am so horrible today. I really am. So let's talk about this.
Messy.
Y'all, I wish I could tell y'all about the tea that happened over this weekend. But anyway, let's talk about what happened in Texas. So in Texas, there was this pregnant woman who went to the ER and she was very pregnant. And they said they pulled up to the ER doors and the woman went in and she was like, my daughter is about to have her baby. I need help, da 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 da. So they told her that she had to bring her daughter in. Then it was like, well, the wheelchair is by the door. Then the mama went by the door. Then she ain't no wheelchairs by the door. So then the nurse finally went somewhere and got the wheelchair because she said she had to keep yelling and stuff to get the wheelchair, so for them to get the wheelchair. So then the nurse and stuff, I thought they supposed to come out because I seen this at Purgatory. So at Purgatory, I see like nursing staff and people, they go out there and help the people out the car and stuff and bring them until they take them to the back immediately. And especially if they're pregnant, they take them straight to the labor and delivery part of the hospital and stuff. So they didn't do all that. So instead, and then on top of that, they made the mama move from the front of the emergency door to another entrance and made her mama bring her in through there. And then she said while she was parking the car, her daughter was still sitting in the lobby in pain. And then this wide red haired nurse was just sitting there asking these lady questions while she ain't playing. I'm gonna play the video for y'all because it pissed me off. I'm gonna play the video for y'all.
Fuck! When's your due date? Right now. Is your due date 11? What? How many times have you been pregnant?
And this heifer just sitting there casually like this lady is screaming for her life.
Pregnancy?
Yes!
You have 2 babies
It's
at
in
home?
my ass!
You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor.
Because that's exactly what it feels like. For real.
It's just casually just still sitting there. Ain't gave her no type of meditation.
Y'all treat all your patients like this
meditation.
or just the black ones?
Beverly's a salad patient for you. Alright, last name is Jones.
Mm.
She's G3P2.
She in between contractions, but that next one coming.
Said it was the 10.
Her due date is 10.
She was on the phone. It's like, bitch, this is, I mean,
She
that's
got
what
3
emergency.
pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet
Like,
y'all
and you're
listen
still
next
not
time.
helping her.
That contraction
You
coming.
delivering at
What?
this hospital? Your
That
ass
contraction
should change
coming.
doctors.
Yeah.
Oh, yo.
Thank you.
Everybody
Like, girl, you
said
go
how
give
they
her
treat
a
people here.
shot and everything. Something. That's just
Don't do that.
pure bananas. It's pure bananas, and I just don't understand why that nurse just sat there, not trying to give that lady any kind of help, no type of medical assistance. You sit up there, casually just typing on your computer, answering questions like this lady ain't screaming at the top of her lungs in pain. And then for those of you who are listening to this on the audio version, she had the baby 12 minutes after that whole ordeal happened right there. 12 minutes. The baby came in 12 minutes.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. Like, so with my first child, didn't know what to expect, anything like that. But I knew enough, you know what I'm saying? And something wasn't right, and I reported it to the nurse, and the nurse was, you can't be in that much pain. And it's so crazy how people think Black women lie about how much pain they're in. So it's like we can report we're having a 10 out of 10 pain and nobody would believe us. And that's what that nurse said to me. She said, you cannot be in that much pain.
Yeah, there was a true story they had where a black woman, she was being neglected by the hospital when she had just had her baby, and she kept on complaining about that she had abdominal pain, and she kept complaining about it. She was in pain, and they wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't help her. None of that stuff. And eventually ended up dying from complications from the pregnancy from them ignoring her that she was in pain. I believe she had some type of something internal where she bled out and died because they did somewhat of a depiction of it. I think that's the proper term on the show called The Resident. They did it almost like a version of it, and the woman they didn't realize that they did was in trouble. Like the woman wasn't lying about the pain she in when her husband kept trying to get her help. When it's like a is it called a Foley? It's like I think she was hooked up to like a Foley or something like that. And is that the Foley for the P? Yeah. So yeah, she was hooked up to a Foley, and then when they picked up the bag, it was like basically just filled with blood. And then that's when they finally decided, like, oh yeah, we need to help this woman. Like something is wrong, but it was too late. She had already had complications and died soon after. They finally realized that,
See, that's what I be talking about.
uh, yeah, they said this it happens quite often in healthcare facilities where a person of brown will be saying like something is wrong and they're not believed, or they are having real serious complications, and these people are not being taken serious, and these people end up dying behind these kind of things, and it's just it's not fair. And like I said, there if you go into the nursing field and you don't want to really help people, why be a nurse? Like, is that the whole point of going into the healthcare field is to help people? And for you to not want to help people, like, what was the point of you going into that field?
Stop. Because they just think nurses make a lot of money. Newsflash.
Right. Yes, you got to do work. Okay. So, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, y'all remember when I played a video that was posted by the Daily Mail, where there was a officer, you saw an officer in his police car, and he was like driving through a field, and he almost ran over a man, and he started chasing the man around the neighborhood in his car trying to hit him. So that officer is now being charged, and it includes murder, assault, attempted murder, assault, reckless driving, and misconduct in office. And I'm so happy this stuff got on camera because um, when I talk to, so you guys gonna hear the story when I the next episode when I talk to oh crap, why is his name why am I'm spacing out on his name? Oh, Dakari. So when I talk to Dakari next week, um when I talk to him, you guys are going to see when he talks about how it is for a black person or a black male to be arrested, and when they get pulled over, and like the anxiety and all these other things that they go through when they're being arrested, or not even being arrested, I mean, but during a traffic stop, there's a lot that goes on with a black man. The first thing that goes through like any black person here, not just male, but just for black people in general, is that please let me survive this traffic stop. I don't want to get killed on this traffic stop. And it shouldn't be like that for black people when they get pulled over by an officer. So me and him did talk about that, and you will see that on the next episode of the podcast when I sit down and talk with Dakari. And it seemed like Tina has a story about some local cases.
I do. I got some crazy.
Right.
I got some crazy local news. Okay. So, two popular chefs in the Milwaukee area have gotten themselves into some really deep trouble. The first chef we're going to talk about, his name is Corey Kirkwood, and he was recently sentenced to 16 years in prison for sexual assault of a minor, soliciting, and trafficking charges. Okay. So, I've seen this guy basically trolling other people because people were saying, what he did was wrong. He was maintaining his innocence. He was still selling plates, what have you, right? So he was accused in exploiting a 15-year-old girl, and he filmed parts of it. So he will be serving 16 years in and 14 out. So, in addition to him being a chef, he also was an activist. Figure that.
How are you an activist? How do you call yourself an activist, but you out here trafficking innocent young girls? Like, make that make sense. Like, no.
And then deny it. Apparently, they must have had enough evidence to convict him. And you filmed it. Like, now, I didn't know that part of it. I knew it was a young girl, but I didn't know what are you doing?
Yeah,
It's
you
crazy.
yourself doing illegal activities with a young girl, and you didn't think in nowhere in your head, it's like your head like, no, this is wrong. This ain't gonna never come back on me. Like, what are we thinking?
They're not thinking. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. Now, I got something even crazier story, right? Now, do you remember, was it last summer when somebody decided to throw a pool party inside of a mechanic shop and they had hamburger helper they was giving out and they was in there sliding around in these pools and on all the grates that was on the floor?
That was like 2 summers ago when they was up in there just playing. They all walk around at bare feet on motor oil and stuff. Like, what are we doing?
Just sliding and eating hamburger helper, right?
Yes, I do remember
So, and they went live. So I ended up watching the whole live, and it was somebody in particular that was stuck out like a sore thumb, and that's this individual that I'm going to speak of now. His name is Martell Hare, aka the Freaky Chef. Okay, so he was caught in Oklahoma, I believe, on the 10th of November, after allegedly fleeing Wisconsin following the death of an alderman's nephew. His name was Marquise Champion. He was only 16 years old. Okay. Now, the shooting actually happened on the 20th of October, and they found him in Oklahoma on November 10th. So it was apparently a lady like recognized him and called the U.S. Marshals, and that's how he got caught, right? So on October 20th, Martell Hare allegedly got into an argument with a woman in a residence after the woman confronted him for referring to young girls that were in the residence as women, right? I'm gonna get to the part why she flipped out, right? Why she was crashing out on him. Now, when he got arrested in Oklahoma, he had 2 open warrants, okay? The first warrant was filed in 2022 for a child sexual assault, okay? And the other one was for a disorderly conduct after a man reportedly said that Hare threatened to shoot him this past summer, right? So I'm thinking, right? So I know the whole backstory with all of this, right? In my head, I'm thinking, why was he not caught before the shooting incident? He had 2 open warrants. The sexual assault warrant go back to 2022, and it's a wild story. And from what I understand in our community, he just been out and about. Clearly, he was at somebody's residence around children. You get what I'm saying? But we got a video to show y'all to kind of give you the backstory about this sexual assault.
Y'all remember this sick individual right here, this monster? We brought you the story back in 2023, and then again we brought you another story back in 2024 regarding this monster. You remember this picture where he was being inappropriate with his hands and all this stuff, and a lot of us had a lot to say about it, but then there were people coming to his defense, oh, it's just innocent, blah, 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 blah. Then it was later revealed that he was SA-ing his own daughter. This monster never should have been out of jail. They should have locked him up and not given him a bond. Martell Hare never should have had a bond. And if he had been locked up and not with a bond, there'd be some young people without bullets in them, and there would be one that would be alive. You see, right now, Martell Hare is on the run for first-degree reckless homicide and other counts in connection to the fatal shooting of this teen right here. His name is Marquise Champion. He was a good kid. He was only 16 years old, a good kid. From what I'm understanding, there was an argument that happened between Martell Hare, and another lady. And the teens were there, but then Martell just stood up and just started shooting. The other victims were 17 and 18 years old. They survived. There's even surveillance footage of what happened. You know, well, not everything, but he was there. The lady had told him to leave, but that's when he stood up and he pulled out his weapon and began shooting for no reason. So this monster's on the run. And I hope that the community, the same community that was supporting him, buying his dinner plates, the same community that called themselves having his back, supporting the stuff that he's done. Do y'all know everything that he's done and still getting away with? This monster has been charged with more than a dozen felonies dating all the way back to 2004. And it's sad because the majority of them were dismissed or not prosecuted. Just 4 months ago, he was charged after police said that he threatened to unalive somebody. That criminal case is also stalled because he wasn't arrested. And going back to that picture, he was arrested for SA back in January 2023, but it's still pending because he never showed up to court. How hard is it not to locate him? He was right there selling dinner plates. He's right there in the community. He's right there in everybody's face. Why is he still walking around? 2 years ago, he was charged with SA of a child. 2 felonies that carries up to 60 years in prison, but he failed to show up to court. At this point, I blame the community because y'all helping him out. You are tolerating his mess. So this is a call to action. It's time to put boots on the ground.
Yeah, I agree with them. Like, that was crazy. So the story with his daughter, the sexual assault of his daughter, the alleged sexual assault of his daughter, right? Because he hasn't been convicted. So he supposedly was somewhere, got intoxicated, came home, and started doing something sexual with somebody that was in the bed who he thought was his girlfriend, right? Turns out it was his daughter. So he supposedly was appalled. He apologized, etc., 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 right? Moving forward, that same girlfriend caught him. I believe they were in a car and he was sexually assaulting his daughter again. And then that's kind of when everything came out, you know. He went by the name of Chef Gotti. Okay. And he was still out here selling plates for a long time, and then he kind of died down. So when I heard this story about the 16-year-old getting shot and killed, I was like, he wasn't in jail? Like, where has he been? But apparently, like, when his face came up on the news, everybody was like, yeah, he was still out and about. He was still going to the clubs, kicking it. He was still doing all this stuff, and nobody turned him in. I mean,
I knew nothing about
our
him.
city ain't that big, you know.
I didn't know nothing about him. I didn't know this was a thing that was going on. I had no clue this is going on. I didn't know this man was. This is all new to me. And
yeah, this was crazy. So when I seen him pop up again, I was like, "Yo, ain't that the weirdo that?"
The fact that he was out here
selling his daughter,
find him selling plates at, and yet y'all couldn't find him. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. It didn't. I don't. Oh, that's bad policing. That is very, very bad policing in my.
It's bad policing, but it's bad on the community too.
Yeah, it is. Like, what are you doing?
Now you got two. So the other 2 people that were shot and survived, those were the 2 young ladies apparently he was talking to. And I believe the way that I had heard the story the first time I heard it, the young man, like hair was getting into it with the lady who told him to leave, and the young man stepped up and he pulled out his pistol and got to shooting. And then ran like the coward he is. And now look at you. What was you doing in Oklahoma? Of all places. And you still got found.
Oh, some people are just not good criminals.
They still found you. I believe they had put out an award. Somebody must have put out an award for his arrest or something like that. Which they should have. He should have been in jail. Where's the mama?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like when it first came out, it was a lot of people actually defending him, talking about people don't know he loved his daughter, this and the other. Okay. He would never do such a thing. That was a misunderstanding.
It turned out Donald Trump and family photos. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, and then the Christmas pictures that everybody was talking about, like his hand was inappropriate, like he was, I believe the young lady. So he was sitting down on the ground and he had his legs open, and one of the children was sitting in between his legs, and then like his hand was like on the inner thigh of another young lady,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I mean, nobody thought about it then because they like, oh, that's his daughter. But like after all of this stuff came out, like, and I mean, the girlfriend said something about it.
Mm-mm. Lord, this man, he needs to be buried under the jail. That's all I got. Bury him under the jail and throw away the key.
Yeah, so I ain't buying no place for none of the rest of you ninjas. Don't
Well,
ask me to buy a plate. No, thank you.
well, with that being said, 'cause we ain't buying no plate. Let's head into final thoughts. Okay, so my final thought is we need to do better country, United States of Americas, the American, whatever you want to call it. We need to do better. Um, Ray J, Ray J, like Kim Kardashian cares about. What else is right there? The Supreme Court. Thank you, Supreme Court, for making same-sex marriage the rule of the law. Thank you all for that. We're gonna keep Donald J. Trump. You lucky I forgot about how Jeffrey Epstein had sent a message to Putin talking about did Trump, blow Bubba, and y'all know Bubba was code name was what's his name? What's that person's name? Bill Clinton's nickname. And here go the funny part, y'all. Here go the funny part I have got to tell y'all about. I know this final thought, but I got to tell y'all about this. Also, I came across this video on TikTok, right? And it's this one lady. She was dressed up as Donald Trump and then Hillary Clinton. Guess what she had them singing? I think it's time we get this straight. Sit and talk face to face. The boy is. Oh, okay. Okay, no, that's my final thought. I'm a mess sometimes. Yeah, that's
I'm not finna deal with you. All right, so my final thought is Trump is about to waste a whole lot of money trying to recertify people that get SNAP benefits, especially if they're not even due for their renewal. Big waste of time, big waste of money, right? Number two, listen, y'all as a community need to start holding people accountable, especially when it comes to some type of abuse to an elderly person or a minor. I'm sorry, street code is kids and old people, and it's supposed to be women are off limits. It's not working that way anymore. Y'all make me sick. Like, this is nuts, okay? You cannot possibly think that hiding somebody that was sexually assaulting a child is okay. What's going on?
agree.
You know? So what else? And I hope the guy that tried to run over the police officer that tried to run over the kid, I hope he gets thrown underneath the jail. And that nurse did get fired, by the way.
Yeah,
And that's my final thought.
I forgot about that. Yeah, she did get fired. I forgot about that. So, y'all, thank y'all for rocking with us for 23, 24 episodes. I don't know how many episodes we do a season. I think it's 24 we do a season. Thank y'all for rocking with us this season. This is the season finale. You guys are going to be getting a bonus episode where I sit down and have a talk with Dakari Lariat about his book Don't Flush and also the Alabama Solution. So I'll be talking with him, and I hope y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And if I forget to tell y'all,
Bye.
celebrate. And yeah, we'll see you guys
Nobody cares.
on a new episode of Coming to this season of the Same Type of Day podcast. Y'all have a good one. All right, okay. All right, all right.
Bye.
All right.